And everybody, we're 10 weeks to go till Manchester Marathon. Welcome back to my channel and the first run of the week. It's Tuesday, rest day yesterday. Today is 2 mile warm up, 3 by 10 minutes, 6:49 pace, 3-minute jog recoveries, 1.5 mile cool down. Let's go. So I'm just trying to wake the legs up a bit before the first effort. Just a few little sprints. Let my legs know what's coming. So this is a run I've had a couple of false starts at already today. It's a day of extremes with the weather, really. We've either had baking hot sunshine or heavy downpours, and it's really humid now. It might look a bit autumnal, but it's really humid. But at least the sun's not out, so don't often say that. At least the sun's not out, but you know what I mean, for efforts. So it's a bit of a crazy week this week. It's my last week at my current job, then 2 weeks on holiday, and then starting a new job. So busy during the day, tying up loose ends, deleting emails off the laptop, all that sort of stuff. A bit of added stress to throw into the mix, but I've been working from home for 16 months, which you'd think would be amazing, but it's actually quite stressful in some ways and difficult to deal with. Not actually seeing people, you know, face to face for that long. It's quite lonely. So the new job is back in an office, 8 till 4, 5 days a week, with actual people, which I'm quite excited about. So making the most of this last week at home before the new role starts. But then in other ways, you know, this is 10 weeks to go to Manchester, start of the 10-week block. It's no longer 2 rest days a week, it's now 1 rest day a week, because my run club run falls on one of my rest days now, so shifted things about a little bit. So running 6 days a week, 50 miles minimum probably each week from now on, as we chase that target. So I'm just over 1.5 miles into warm up, and then we're going to get cracking on these 3 10-minute blocks. Should total about just under 9 miles altogether. And I've got a little bottle of water that I'm going to have a swig of before the first effort. One of these, and then leave by the road, ready for when I get back after the last effort. So let's get into it. First effort done. I think I held 6:46 all the way through. Target was 6:49. Just finished like 30 seconds ago. That was okay. That was fairly comfortable. I thought I could ease off to 6:49, but 6:46 felt under control, so I just stuck with that. Felt good. Happy with that. 2 more minutes recovery. I tend to walk for 30 seconds to a minute of the recovery and then jog the next 2 out. Okay, next one coming up soon. Second one done. So it's a 10-minute block, and I've got auto lap on for a mile. So after a mile, auto lap goes off. So once again, the first mile of that 10-minute block was 6:46, and then the next 3 minutes 15 seconds or whatever, 3 minutes 14 seconds were, they set off the 6:41 alarm, so it might have been a little bit quicker, but mainly that's because, I don't know if you noticed, but I go through a bit of shaded area on that section, and it always knocks your speed right down. So I probably inadvertently push it a little bit through there. But that's good. 2 blocks done. 1 minute of the 3-minute cool down done. And then we hit the last block. So far so good. 6:46 and holding it comfortably for the first 2 blocks. Let's just jog out the remainder of this recovery and get ready for the last 10-minute block. So it's out and back again. I did 1 10-minute block out, 5 minutes the second block, then turned and came back again. So this 10-minute block should put me between 1.5 miles and 2 miles from the finish. Third one done, into the 3-minute recovery. So the first mile of the last block, I know I'm all numbers, I love the numbers. If you're still here, hopefully you've realised that by now. So the first mile of the third block was 6:46 again, leaving 3:14, 3 minutes 14 to hang on at the end. And of course I had the only hill on this bit of low road during that last bit, and suddenly the pace crept up to 6:46, 6:56. But I managed to pick up my water bottle and then push on. Didn't stop my watch, but managed to push on over the crest of the hill and then pick it up back down to probably 6:46 again. Fabulous. Oh wow, I'm pleased with that. 3 blocks of 10 minutes at 6:46, and holding that, you know, it's really hard. It's a really hard pace for me at the moment, but I can adjust it a few seconds up or a few seconds down, so it's comfortably hard, as they say, very comfortably hard. I could ease it off, or I think I can just hold it there. So that's good. It's done now. So I'll finish off this another minute of walk recovery, and then we got a 1.5 mile jog home. Session done. Wednesday today, and 10.5 miles easy. I'm 1 mile in. It's a little bit, there's a few spots of rain, which is quite nice. Quite breezy, but less humid than it has been. So yeah, 10 miles easy, 10.5 miles easy. Same route as I did last week. A few hills, tailwind out, headwind back. Feeling pretty good. Here we go again, down Cuckoo Hill into this lovely shaded area. Then we're going out through Wirtwell, and then into, I don't know what it's called, St Elmham's. It's where my mate Marcus lives. St Mary, St Peter, St Elmham, I'm not sure. It's a village over there. Maybe there'll be a sign and I'll show you. It's literally the middle of nowhere. Then looping back round through Mendham, over the bridge, back up into Harleston. Can you even see that? I'm not sure. So we're 1.5 miles in, heart rate 146, bang on 8:30 miling. Had a nice few comments about heart rate the other day on last week's video, about working out heart rate, paces, that sort of thing. So I tend to go off paces, and there's a few reasons behind that. When I do a race, I generally do it absolutely all out. I give it everything, every second I can go for. And that, whether it's a 5, 10k, half marathon, that tells me exactly where I am. Hang on. That tells me exactly what I've got in me. No holding back. Give it everything. So a race means give it absolutely everything, and then from that I can calculate my Daniel's training paces. So I get my threshold pace, my easy run paces, interval and rep paces. So that all comes from a race time. And what you have to do there, you have to taper, you have to be giving that race everything, so it's a genuine all-out effort. And then the times that you calculate from that are trustworthy for your training. So my easy pace 8:30s, that comes from a 1:31 half marathon I did a while back, and that is the very fast end of easy. You know, it goes from 8:30 up to 9:30 10s, but 8:30s works for me quite nicely. Now the reason I use paces rather than heart rate is because where I live it's incredibly flat, incredibly flat. If it was really hilly, I would probably use heart rate, but because the hills here are only at the most a minute to run up, if ever I'm doing, you know, intervals, runs, threshold, whatever, you get a minute up, you get a minute down. It very quickly evens itself out. And so for that pace, you get a little bit of variety in the effort required to hold it. Your heart rate goes up a bit, it comes down again on the downside of the hill. So pace works well for me. But having said that, I do get heart rate data back, and I do study that, as you've probably seen in previous videos. Heart rate of an easy run, heart rate at this effort or that effort, average heart rates for a race. I do study it, but I don't set my paces off it, because heart rate can be affected by so many things, not just hills, wind, but also stress and sleep and recovery and that sort of stuff. And for me, heart rate, you know, I don't use the old 220 minus your age, because I'm 50 years old. My maximum heart rate is taken from the end of an all-out effort session, hill efforts, or the end of a 5k, and it's about 195. So that's the 220 minus your age gone out the window. So my max is about 195, and my comfortable easy heart rate about 150, which is what I'm doing now. I know some people 150 is maximum all out effort, but that just comes down to genetics and things like that. So yeah, your own max heart rate and heart rate ranges is down to, you know, it's different for everybody. It's down to your genetics, your physiology, your medical history, your occupation, all these things, how fit you are, whether you're fit at the moment or not so fit at the moment. All these things have a factor on your heart rate. For me, you know, 65 to 75% of max heart rate is my easy run range. So, you know, work that out for yourself, but you need an accurate maximum heart rate first. And the best way I find is to do something like a 5k and absolutely smash the hell out of it. Something like parkrun, run it hard, and in the last 500 meters just completely empty the tanks, overtake everyone you can, or get to the line as quickly as you can. Or something like a hill effort session, you know, 6x8, 6 or 8 times 30 seconds sprint up a hill. On the last one, give it absolutely everything you've got, and if you start feeling dizzy, that's probably your maximum heart rate. You know, only do it if you're used to it. Check with your doctor if you're okay to do that. But that's the best way to find out your maximum heart rate. But you know, I think you have to have a decent amount of run training before you do sessions like that, because they are hard. The other thing you must pay some attention to if you're going to start looking at at heart rate, studying heart rate and being guided by it, or letting it influence your training, is how accurate is your heart rate recording. So ideally you want to use a chest strap, a nice good condition one, Polar or Garmin or Wahoo also make some good ones. So a nice good condition one, new battery, contacts in good condition, so you can trust the data from it. And then when you do a run, you want to look at the data on Strava or Garmin and look at the curve that your heart rate produces. You know, if it was a steady run, does the curve look steady? If it was intervals, do the heart rate peaks match the intervals? So how trusting can it be? You know, if there's massive gaps where it doesn't look like it's recording, then it's probably not accurate. You know, some of the older wrist-based straps were renowned for not being too accurate, but they are getting better now. They're using an optical measurement these days, and they produce pretty good data. But you must make sure your data is good quality before you rely on it. That's the auditor in me. So as I was talking about Norfolk Hills not being very big, and about the weather, I said it was cool and cloudy and a bit of rain. Now look at it. But anyway, as I was saying about Norfolk Hills not being very bad, so that's about as uphill as we get around here. So down a little valley, and I'll show you what's up ahead. See, that's about as much uphill as we get around here. So there you go, there's a Norfolk Hill. About a minute and you're all done. Just over 8 miles into this 10.5 miler. Now tomorrow I'm doing a bit of video with Noble Pro, the guys who kindly gave me the treadmill to train on, which I do every week. They're giving me a few questions they're going to be asking me while we're doing some video. One of which was, why do I run? And I've been thinking about that for about the past 5 miles. And just as a bit of a heads up, it's too long to squeeze into a snippet of this video, so I think I'm going to do a separate video just about why I run. Because it's an interesting thing to think about. Why do we do what we do? Put ourselves through the hurt locker, the pain, the frustrations, the dedication to try and get as quick as we can, chasing numbers or targets. Why do we do it? You know, the highs are incredibly high, but the lows are horrible. The injuries are horrible. The amount of running shoes we get through is horrible. But I'm going to do a separate video. I'm going to sit down and have a fireside chat about why I run. So watch out for that one. That one will be coming, I think, probably next week. Anyway, back. So 5 by 5 minutes, 6:35. That's tonight's run target. Just finishing off a 2 mile warm up. I'm terrified of this, my legs are destroyed before we've even started. Oh well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Big effort coming up. 4 down, 1 to go. I'm on pace so far. 6:40, 6:35, 6:33, 6:35 I think, but I was under the trees. 4 down, last one to go. Oh, loving it. Not hard as hell, but a little bit less painful than I thought it was going to be. Getting close to the targets though, that's the mission at the moment. Just to get close to these short, fast effort targets. But we're nearly there. Another 90 seconds recovery. And the last one.
Carrying? Oh.
Mm. You what?
I thought you were carrying.
There you are.
Anything, Tom?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. You want chips for that?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Whatever you'd like, and whatever you'd like.
So we're about 15 miles into my 18-mile run. Got my lovely wife with me as bike support, carrying the bottles and ordering the pizzas for 3 miles time. Nearly done. So that was a couple of clips from yesterday's 18 miler, which I did on Saturday, just because I've shuffled my days around a little bit really. So 18 miles yesterday, had my wife along, as you saw, carrying my bottles and gels and ordering pizza, which was cool. But it was really nice, to be honest, to be able to plan a nice big circular route and not have to worry about stashing bottles or carrying all the bottles I needed. I do sweat like crazy, so I need a lot of water as I go, otherwise I get very dehydrated towards the end. And it's nice not to have to carry them and just have them passed to me when I wanted them, and also have a chat along the way. We've got 2 weeks off work now, so we've discussed my list of jobs I've got to do coming up for the next 2 weeks. But no, really, it's nice to have her along for a natter and a couple of hours just to chill and talk about stuff, which was good. So that went really nicely. And then today, just a bit of a leg stretch and a dog walk now, before we've got stuff going on, housework, barbecue. And I've just got a little 4 mile run to do today to bring my weekly mileage up to 56 miles, I think. Although, because I brought my long run forward, it actually means I've done 75 miles in 7 days. So the legs are pretty knackered, to be honest, but it's a good place to be, you know. I can do 2 18-milers, 2 10-milers in a week, really building up that endurance. Running on tired legs. We're only pretty much 10 weeks away now, so I know that when I get into a taper, you know, I've got a long way to go still now, but with all this running, all these miles, by the time I get around to the taper, I'll hopefully feel ready to get that 3:15 time. So it's all looking pretty good for now. The other thing I don't know if I did mention was that on Thursday of this week, which was my club run week, I spent the day with Noble Pro, the guys at Noble Pro who supplied me with the treadmill. They had a sort of a film recording studio booked. We put a treadmill together, did a bit of video. I did 2 or 3 runs on the treadmill so we could get some video. They're doing like a ambassador profile, I guess. So they did some video with me and also another lady, Anya Gab, who's one of the ASICS front runners. And that was a really cool day. It was nice it was 3 hours away, so I had an early start, 4 a.m. start on the Thursday to get down to Henley-on-Thames. And then day spent a bit of waiting around and a bit of three runs on the treadmill, I think, so a couple of miles. Then I did some sprint efforts on the treadmill, and then a bit of running in the countryside to get some video footage together. So I might try and put some of that on here just for you to have a little look at. But if you like the Noble Pro Facebook page, Instagram account, you'll be able to see those athlete profiles that they're putting together, which is pretty cool. But it's also good to meet Jo, the lady who runs Noble Pro, and hear about some of the future updates they've got planned for the treadmills. You know, it's really exciting because, as she said on the day, treadmill technology has been really overlooked the last 10 years or so, and they've really not moved on very much. When you look at things like Zwift on the bike, Bluetooth technology, all that sort of stuff, things have really moved on, but treadmills have just stayed much the same. You can you can alter the incline, you can alter the speed. That's about it. They don't do a lot more than that, you know, over the years. But now they're really making some advances in technology with the Bluetooth, Zwift capabilities, things like that. So it's really cool to be part of that as we go forward. So yeah, that was a bit of time spent on Thursday with Noble Pro.